Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Eliott Wave update for Chainlink. And I'm going to get pretty in-depth on the current correction we're working on. But just a quick recap on the daily. Off our significant low around 477, we had a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete a primary wave 1. Now, standard targets for our third wave is you take the Fibonacci extension tool from beginning of wave 1 off the top of wave 1, extend that off of wave 2. We look for the 1.618 extension for our third wave. You can see we got extended past that. We then, for our fifth wave, take the length of wave 1, extend it off of wave 4, target that 1-to-1. You can see we hit that to a tick. So at this point, we have a completed 5-wave move. You can see we also have our third wave being the extended wave, which is ideal. Our peak RSI is at that third wave and our most volume. So everything says this is a completed wave. Now from there, this is the area that gets a little bit difficult. My initial count as this being complete at this last low has been in question for the last little bit, as you are aware, because I didn't like the fact that the high here was a 3-wave move. So this becomes even more complex. You can't get exact extensions on this. So there's things we need to discuss on the lower term time frames and talk about how we could come down for another low and what that would look like. Now, I can't pull off exact pivots, just taking the highest pivot off the medium term pivot and looking at a 1-to-1, just because of the complex nature of this. So for our wave 2, we look between the 382 and the 618. You can see we hit that 382 zone. So our initial reaction was, okay, we have a wave 1 and 2, and we're resuming our trend for the larger third wave, which is still valid. So there's a very tight trade setup available. But one thing I need to note here is the way I have this counted on the 4-hour as a zigzag. Our fourth can actually get extended over, and this becomes a flat pattern where a B makes a lower low below the 3, and our fourth does not break the A wave if this is an ABC. In that scenario, rather than an ABC, this becomes only an A wave. And you can see it's perfectly valid. And in that case, we'd be looking for another C wave lower. But as long as we hold above 1105, we're safe. But I just wanted to show you that does play. And in which case I would expect this to probably come to around 991. We'd be targeting the 1-to-1 of this current move, which is actually lower than that, but the 618 is our minimum requirement. So right in that zone. Again, this count is all messed up, so these pivots aren't exact. I'd more track this move in real time to find a potential pivot bottom. Okay. So now that we are prepared that this could be the case and we come lower, this whole move becomes a WXYXZ in that case, where we get a flat for our W wave, an X wave, a zigzag for our Y wave, an X wave, and another zigzag for our Z wave. I know this looks very complicating, but if you just split up individual structures, all we're looking here in the bearish scenario is just an ABC to complete, and then the bull market starts. So that's one thing I want to make very clear, that this is completely in play. Now what we're going to discuss here is, if we are bullish in this area, what does that look like? So this is the last scenario that stays bullish. You've heard me say many times that diagonals can also be WXYs. They mimic each other very similarly. Usually that just involves a flat in between. So this can easily be labeled a WXY for an X wave, and we get that move to the downside. Now, how we'd get that move to the downside, this would end up being some sort of diagonal. ABC, X, ABC, X, ABC. Something like that. So remember, we're just looking to make this larger move an ABC. And then we can look for a pivot to the upside. So that's what I look at for the downside. Now, for the bullish scenario, it appears like we're not complete as well. In the bullish scenario, I'd say we're making a WXY, and we're looking for another ABC. We hold at around the 786, which is a reasonable area to pivot off a diagonal. Diagonals tend to retrace a little bit deeper. Now, I want to see where the one-to-one lines up here. A little bit past that, but again, the 618s are minimum, so around 1233s are minimum. So we'll label this as an ABC for now. And we're looking for another ABC. Move that up to primary. So we're looking for an ABC, and it looks like we're in the middle of a 5-wave move, as long as this area holds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We'll see if this makes some sort of flat. There is no overlap there, so it does count, but I'd like a 3, 4, 5. Put that to the smallest degree. Can throw on our pivots. It's just general area I'm looking for. Okay, so we've technically met our 3rd wave target, 4th wave, and 5th wave. And that would make an A wave. So let me pull this over a little bit so you can see that a little better. So our 3rd wave target is there at 1296. Looks like we're at that, looking for a 4th wave that does not overlap wave 1. And then a 5th wave down between 1277 and 1276. That would become our A wave in our final ABC for our Y wave. We then look for a retracement and another 5-wave move, whether that's a diagonal or an impulse. And then we can attempt an upside move. So this is what I'm paying attention to around that 786. This is my last shot at playing this bullish at the moment. And what I look for is in the C wave, a nice 5-wave move off the low, break this previous 4th wave of the C wave, make a pullback, take that long. Remember, we're targeting all-time highs. Like it's probably the best risk reward you will get on a long trade if this count holds up. It's the important thing to note. So this is what I'm tracking. ABC. We'll see if we get this move. And if we invalidate, all we have to do to invalidate is go above this X wave. And in that case, this looks very 3-wave-ish. I would imagine this X wave is just getting bigger. And we'd still be looking for an ABC after. So when those things happen and you do see a 3-wave, like this is very choppy overlap, something complex most likely, just realize it's not just going to take off. It's most likely this X wave getting bigger, where this turns into a WXY for this X wave, and we're still expecting this. You can see it's not impulsive. I don't expect it to take off whatsoever. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm trying to add some education into these videos as I make them do it in real time so you can see how it's done. But this is currently what I'm looking for, that 4 or 5 for an A, B, C to complete. All right, guys, that's it for Chainlink. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.